Beijing has warned Washington that it will bear all consequences and face forceful measures if U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi visits Taiwan. She's expected to travel to Taipei with a delegation next month. That makes her the most senior U.S. lawmaker to visit the island in 25 years. Or this as yet unconfirmed visit drawing swift rebuke from Beijing.
如果美方一意孤行，中方必将采取坚决有力措施，坚定捍卫国家主权和领土完整。由此造成的一切后果，必须完全由美方负责。
Reports say the White House has expressed concerns about Ms. Pelosi's trip. This comes as U.S. President Joe Biden and his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping prepare to hold online talks in the coming weeks. And for more of this, Nick Harper joins us live from Washington, D.C. Nick, of course, these visits are not uncommon from the U.S. This year alone, we've seen a senator in May, a delegation of high-level retired officials in February. So the question would be, why Ms. Pelosi and at this time?
That's right, yes. We do see these type of delegations. As you mentioned, it's not unusual for the US to head to Taipei. But the very fact that Nancy Pelosi will be going, the fact that she will become the most senior official from the US to visit Taiwan in a quarter of the century makes this very significant. Now, Nancy Pelosi was planning to travel to the island earlier this year, but she then got COVID. We're told at this stage that she is traveling to the Indo-Pacific, visiting Singapore, Japan, Malaysia, Indonesia. But as part of this, we are expecting that there will also be a trip to Taipei. Now, we have seen the US, I guess, ramping up support for Taiwan in recent months. It has no official diplomatic relations with Taipei, but we've certainly seen an increase in military support. It's the biggest backer in the region, but we've also seen President Biden going above and beyond what former US presidents have done in the past, saying that the US stands ready to help defend Taiwan should Beijing choose to invade the island. So certainly a show of support from the Speaker of the House. If she goes, this trip isn't confirmed, but as we heard just there, it has brought that swift rebuke from Beijing, which in itself is not a surprise. China feels that the US is meddling in its internal affairs, that it's going against the one China policy with these type of visits, and having the House Speaker visit the island would certainly be something that would further anger Beijing if it goes ahead.
Nick, as you mentioned, President Biden speaking up about defending Taiwan militarily. But each time he has done that, the White House has then walked back those comments and said that is not actually what he meant, which could suggest some concern about stoking tensions with Beijing. Given that kind of concern, do you think this trip might be called off at the 11th hour?
Well, it certainly could be. There's no suggestion of that at this stage, mainly because the trip hasn't been fully confirmed. But we are hearing that the White House is worried and has directly expressed concern to Nancy Pelosi's office about this trip. Now, of course, US-China relations have been rocky for some time. Under the former US President Donald Trump, they certainly got rockier, worsening with those several rounds of tariffs. But if anything, under President Biden, they seem to have soured further. We've seen the US Congress pass a number of anti-China bills, certainly viewed that way from Beijing. We've seen President Biden speak out more for his support of Taiwan, even though the White House says there is no change officially of policy. And we do have really a delicate moment in terms of US-China relations. These reports that President Biden and Xi Jinping will be getting on the phone at some point soon, potentially in the coming weeks, and also reports that President Biden may be looking to drop some of those tariffs against China. So it is at a delicate point. This could further destabilize relations. So there is a possibility of the White House weighing in and trying to stop the trip. But at this stage, at least if the reports are to be believed, Nancy Pelosi is keen to be visiting the island and could do so really in the next couple of weeks, at some point during August.
And thanks for that. Nick Harper speaking to us there from Washington.